This is Olivia Osgood, and you are listening to the How to Quit Working Show. I'm glad that my mommy's an entrepreneur so that we get to spend lots of time together and she gets to homeschool me.
This is the How to Quit Working Show. Jeff Steinman believes entrepreneurship is the only true path to freedom. That's why he created the How to Quit Working Show, where you'll hear stories, insights, and inspiration from lifestyle fanatics who left their soul-sucking 9-to-5 job forever. Now, here's your host, author, entrepreneur, and ultimate lifestyle fanatic, Jeff Steinman.
Hello and welcome to the How to Quit Working program. This is Heather Osgood, your host of the Friday episode of the How to Quit Working show. I hope that you're doing well, and I'm so glad that you're here with us today. Before we get started with our podcast, I want to make sure that you've had a chance to join the How to Quit Working Circle. You can join the How to Quit Working Circle by going to howtoquitworking.com/circle, and there you will have a chance to join our Facebook group, which is a growing and dynamic group of people just like you who would love to start a business or who are business owners and can help give you advice and guidance on your journey, and just more than anything else, be moral support for you as you go through your process. And next, you also have access to a great series of video training. So it's a free video training series, and it's just really an excellent way to get yourself kind of kick-started on this plan of quitting your job and getting a business up and rolling. And you'll also be privy to information we have of live events that we will have periodically. So if you are not a member of the How to Quit Working Circle, I encourage you to go to howtoquitworking.com/circle and join us today. Now, to dig into the meat of why we are here, I want to talk to you a little bit about business plans. As a coach, I get lots of questions, and someone actually in the Facebook group this week posted a question about business plans, and I thought that this was the perfect topic for us to discuss. So I wanted to dig into this with you a little bit and just kind of dispel some of the myths that are surrounding business plans. It's a question that I get all the time. It's a question that I see all over the internet all the time. And truthfully, it is a question that there is just a lot of disagreement about. There are many people out there who say, I don't think you need a business plan. There's really no need for a business plan. And then you got the other people who say, if you don't have a 300-page business plan, you really aren't going to succeed. My theory on this business planning is that it is vital to the success of your business, and I will tell you why right now. If you're thinking about starting a business, chances are you have been thinking about this for a while, and you have had lots and lots of ideas kind of flowing and circulating around in your brain. And if you're at the stage where you're ready to create a business plan, that means you're also at the stage where you have been thinking about this idea for a while. Now, when I say for a while, it could be that you have been thinking about it for years. I talk with people all the time who have business ideas that they have literally been thinking about for years and years. Or you could be somebody who you aren't thinking about the business for years and years. You just thought about it for the last, 2 or 3 months, but it is all you can do is think about this business for the last 2 or 3 months. In either case, you have dedicated a lot of thought to this idea of what it would be like to be a business owner or to start a business. And if you're thinking about writing a business plan, chances are you have your concept totally solidified. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, hey, I am nowhere near writing a business plan because I don't even know what kind of business to start, then I recommend you go back in the archives and listen to the podcast that addresses the concept that you need for getting a business created. Start with that. But if you're with us today and you are that person who is like, I've got this dynamic idea, I know exactly what I want to do, and I would like to get this business up and started. Where do I begin? Where do I start? And do I need a business plan? All of this is just for you. You are the person that I would love to speak with further about business planning. So why you want a business plan is because you want to take all of those ideas, all of those concepts that have been rattling around in your brain for months and months, and put them out on paper. And the reason you want to put them out on paper is because it helps get it out from the bouncing around stage to the actual concrete, I'm going to do this. And so for me, part of it is just really that moment of truth where you're saying, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to take these ideas out of my mind. I'm going to put them out there and I'm going to make them something. And the other really important part is when you put something down on paper, you really have a chance to see whether or not it really, really makes sense. Part of what I like to think about is, have you ever woken up and you have had like an extremely vivid dream and you remember every detail of it? And when you're in this dream, it all makes so much sense. And then you wake up and you start telling your partner or family member about the dream you had. And then all of a sudden there are big gaps and it doesn't quite make as much sense as it did when you were in your dream. And you're kind of left thinking, well, gosh, I thought that was such a profound dream and I had this wonderful experience. I learned this great thing. But now as I'm communicating it, I realized that there were some weird gaps or weird things that happened. And that's exactly what it's like with your business plan. You are dreaming of this idea of creating this business. You have all of these concepts and these ideas that are circulating around in your mind. And what we want to do is we want to take those ideas and we want to solidify them. We want to put them out there and we want to see, where are there big gaps with this concept? Where are the places where this just totally doesn't make sense at all? Or maybe there's a disconnect that's happening, because chances are in every single business, there is a disconnect. There is a place where it's just not quite right. And putting it out on paper really allows you to see where those gaps are and where the places are that just don't quite jive or just don't quite make sense. And first and foremost, that is the most important reason for you to create your business plan. You're solidifying the vision that you have for this organization that you're trying to create. You're getting it out of the mental realm and you're putting it into something that is concrete and actionable. And if there is no other reason to write a business plan, that is the most important reason for you to write a business plan, is for you to take it from an idea into something that is actually doable. The action of writing your business plan will for you cement the idea that this isn't something that you're just trying to do. This isn't just a hobby. This is something that you're actually going to do. I can't tell you how many times I speak to people on the phone, how many of my clients were working through this process of making this a reality. Because you know what? There are lots and lots of jobs out there, and most all of you could go get a job today. You could probably go walk in and get a job just about anywhere. So you have the capability of getting a job, and starting a business is really, really hard. It is so hard, and I find so frequently people get so close to success and then they just retreat. It's like, I'm right there, but I'm just going to go back. And so what we want to do is we want to take this out of the realm of, is this an option for you? And no, it's not an option. This is something you're committed to. This is something you know is really going to fulfill your dreams. And in order to take that first step, you have to get a solid plan of action in place. You have to have a clear vision for what it is that you want to create. And that is why you need to write a business plan. So I want you to really, really think about that. I want to let you just allow that to kind of sink in and just really examine what it would feel like to get all your thoughts out of your brain and onto paper. As you're starting your business plan, what I want to recommend is that you start with a one-page business plan. And the one-page business plan is literally, I would say, probably no more than maybe 10 questions that you are answering. What problem are you solving? Who are you solving it for? What is your marketing strategy? What is your sales strategy? Who are your strategic partners? What's your budget look like? What are your expenses? Just really the bare bones minimum of what you will need to really create your business. Having that one-page business plan will allow you to see what the true outline of your concept is, and it's just a great place to start. It's not intimidating to write a one-page business plan. It's really just your simple concepts. It's really just a great overview of your business idea, and it's a really, really good tool for you to use. The other thing is that it's just quick and easy. It's something that most people, if you've got a really good business concept, could sit down and you could probably get it out in a night. It may be a week tops, but it's something you definitely can create, and all of you have the ability to do it. So starting with a one-page business plan is really terrific. The other nice thing about the one-page business plan is that you will see gaps in the one-page business plan. Maybe you've got a terrific product concept, but you have no idea what to do for marketing and you don't have a marketing strategy at all. Or maybe you have a really great marketing and sales strategy, but the product is kind of iffy, or there's going to be some holes that you're going to identify when you put the concept out there for the first time. And in that one-page business plan, it's the perfect place to identify those gaps and to identify things that maybe aren't working. Again, going from that, like, this is so great in my mind, and what does it actually look like on paper? Once you have that one-page business plan created, then I recommend that you move to the full-length business plan. And a full-length business plan can be a little bit more intimidating. It can be a little scarier, but it is still so important because it solidifies what it is that you're creating. Now, if you were to think of the full length business plan, what I'd like you to kind of relate it to is the idea of eating a meal. Now, if I walked up to you and you were at a restaurant, you were eating something, and I said, hey, what are you eating? You might say something like, oh, I'm eating chicken parmesan. And I would instantly know, okay, this person's eating chicken parmesan. And, I would have a mental image and a mental picture of what that dish looks like. And as you're listening to this, I'm sure most of you can conjure up a mental image of what chicken parmesan looks like. And you're like, great, that person's eating that meal. Now, if I were to say, what is actually in this dish and what is the recipe, that would be taking it to a whole nother level. So if I walked up to somebody and I said, hey, do you have the recipe for that meal you're eating? When they handed me the recipe, I wouldn't have just an image of what they're eating. I would know exactly what they were eating. I would know that it had noodles. I would know that they made the sauce from scratch, and it had oregano, and it had basil, and it had homegrown tomatoes. I would know, that the chicken breast was, cooked for 30 minutes before it was breaded, or whatever. I would have a very, very clear picture of what exactly that person was eating. I would know the exact recipe and the exact way to put that dish together. And that is what I want you to think about when you're thinking about your full-length business plan. Your full-length business plan is a detailed recipe of how you are going to create this business. Why is it so important to have this detailed recipe of how you're going to create the business? Well, that's going to be your roadmap. That's going to tell you what you need to do to get the company up and to get it to a place of success. And if you don't have that, recipe to follow, it's very easy for you to get sidetracked. It's very easy for you to get demotivated. It's very easy for you just to feel like you're directionless. Or if you're an entrepreneur, most of you have the shiny object syndrome. It's like, ooh, look at that. What a great opportunity. Look at that. What a great opportunity. You see all of the possibilities. I understand this because I am one of you. I believe every entrepreneur has that in them. Something comes up and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, that looks like such a great opportunity. I know I had this business concept, but that one over there looks so much better. I think that could, really produce more profit, or I could really help more people with that idea. And so it's very easy to get derailed. And the problem is that every time you make a shift from your original intention, you really just kind of eat away at your ability to create something, because most people are really good at getting something started, but not as many people are good at finishing things. And I have found with entrepreneurs in particular that most entrepreneurs are really good at getting started. The ideas are really there, the vision is there, the desire to get started is there, but what isn't there is kind of that stick-to-itiveness, that ability to continue. you to really just, be persistent, to trudge day in and day out through the process of getting something up and started. Because you have to think about, with a business, you are taking it from nothing. So nothing existed at all. And now you are creating something, you are building something, not unlike a house. If you were to imagine an empty lot, an empty field, and you were going to build a house on it, you would have to start with some basic things. You would have to start with a foundation. And if, there's a reason why banks don't lend on houses without foundations. And it's because in most cases, the house isn't stable. If there's some natural disaster, chances are that house could just come down. And when you're building a brand new house, the foundation is one of the most important elements. The next most important element are the supporting beams. What is the structure on that foundation that is going to allow that house to be there? When you think about skyscrapers, what kind of foundation, what kind of support system do they have to create in order to build this massive building? That is so, so important. And it's just the same in your business. You are taking something that doesn't exist. You're taking something that is, just an idea. It's just something you have created in your mind. It's really, no more than a daydream unless it's something you actually take action on. And the business plan is the foundation of your business concept. It is taking it out of the fantasy realm and putting it into reality. It's creating something from nothing. And if you don't have that, if you don't have all the pieces connected, you're not going to have that stick-to-itiveness. You're not going to be able to walk through the process. And you're very easily going to abandon your ideas because you're going to see a better opportunity. And part of the reason that opportunity will look better is because your concept isn't secure enough. Your concept isn't fleshed out enough. It doesn't have all of the details that it needs to have. It doesn't have a customer base, it doesn't have just the elements, the glue that's really going to keep your concept and your business together. That is why it's just so, so, so important. Now, I would say a very common theme that I have experienced in working with my clients is that most people are very overwhelmed with the concept. And part of it, again, kind of gets back to what I said in the beginning. People think that it's has to be this 300-page document, and you have to do 10 pages, has to be just pure research, or you have to drop the most complicated forecasts and financial projections, and it's going to have to be really in depth. And that is just overwhelming, because chances are, most of you listening to this don't have an MBA. You probably don't have any idea where you should get started or what you should do. In most cases, many of the people I work with are just people who really would like to start a business. They have this dream of freedom and flexibility, and a lot of times they have no idea where to get started. They don't know where the best plan is, or where the best place is for them to actually take action. And so it feels really overwhelming. When I say, hey, it's time for us to write a business plan, I would say probably 75% of the people I work with just kind of, I can instantly feel their angst around this idea of writing a business plan. But it is such a crucial, important part of the puzzle. And if you don't put the energy into it, it really, really will hinder you later on. So my recommendation to you is just to try your best not to get intimidated by this idea of writing a business plan. Even if you're not a writer, even if you hate to write, none of that really matters, because in most cases, like I said at the beginning, you're writing the business plan for yourself. You're not writing it for a gazillion people to read and proofread. You are writing it so that you have a very solid, clear understanding of what it is that you are creating, and that's why it's important. And a lot of times the fact that people are writing it for themselves makes them less likely to want to write it. I'll talk to people who will say, well, I have my business plan in my mind. I know what I'm going to do. But again, there is that difference. There is the difference between thinking it up here and actually doing it. There's a difference between what's in your mind and what is actually coming out, and looking at something critically. And in order to line it up and really examine it critically, you have to be able to see all of the moving pieces. And the only way you can see all the moving pieces is to put them on paper. There are so many wonderful free resources online for business plan templates. So where you want to get started is you just want to go to the internet, put in one-page business plan template, and you will get a list of great resources and templates that will come up, and you can very easily create your one-page business plan. Next, you'll just want to Google business plan period and business plan templates, and you'll get a list again of full-length business plans. And the difference between a one-page business plan and a full-length business plan really isn't all that different. Again, it's, the full length is the detailed recipe. It's something that should really include all the pieces that you're going to need to take. And then also not just the ingredients, but the order that you want to put the ingredients in together. It's just that step by step. This is kind of how I'm going to do it. This is when I'm going to do it. This is what I expect to happen. After I put this dish in the oven for 30 minutes, I expect to have, something baked that I can eat. So after I work in my business for a year, I expect I'm going to be producing, X number of, dollars, and I expect that I'm going to be serving this number of people or this number of clients with my product or service. So really, it's just the detailed look. Now, when you find those templates online, you get them downloaded most of the time, and I would look for these. You're going to be able to find a template that is simply asking you questions. It will say, okay, walk through this list of questions, answer these, and you're going to have your business plan. And there is nothing simpler than really just walking through all those questions. Now, there are lots of questions. It's not, it's not something that's going to happen in, an evening. A business plan that is a full-length business plan is going to take you a little bit of work. One of the most important elements of your business plan that gets left off, or that most people are kind of reluctant to do, is the research part, because most people say, well, I don't know how to research this. I have no idea where I would find out if somebody would buy this, or I don't know, there's just like a lot of unanswered questions that people shy away from. And so I want to encourage you to really kind of dig into those areas that you feel like a little trepidation or a little uncertain about. And, when you get to a question and you're like, gosh, I have no idea how to answer this question, you could take a couple of different approaches. The first approach you could take is, I have no idea what this is. And I'm starting a business, and it's important for me to understand why I might need this or how to do this. And you can get online and you can Google your heart away and find the answer to anything that you ever wanted to know on the internet, which I'm sure you all know. So if you come up to a question, you have no idea how to answer that question, you simply need to find out the answer. You need to go out there. You need to be proactive. If you are going to be starting a business, you need to take the initiative, because if you can't take the initiative to write a business plan, you will not have the initiative that it takes to be successful in business. So it's important for you to really step out of your comfort zone on these things and go and investigate it. Now, there is the flip side of things where, if you feel very comfortable and confident in what you're doing and you come up to a question and you have no idea how to answer this question, you could just decide that that wasn't pertinent to your business and move on. Also, when you're looking at these templates online, you're going to find that a lot of them are really geared more toward the brick and mortar. So if you're thinking about doing a service business, a mobile business, an online business, all those things could really change kind of the approach that you would take with your business planning. So really, just kind of examine that. And once you get your template, I'd really recommend reading through the entire document. And in some cases, they can be upwards of 10 pages, but of course they're spaced out and they're just a question and then a whole bunch of space and a question. But so read through the whole business plan and really get an idea of what it's going to be asking and what it's going to be wanting from you. And if you do come up with things that you feel like you can't answer or you don't think that they're pertinent to you, just discard those, because it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what it says. Really what you're trying to create is that clear vision of what you want for your organization and your business. And that's why it's so important. The other thing I'd really recommend that you do is I'd put some sort of a timeline or a deadline on your ability to write this business plan, because it can become a roadblock. So a lot of times people will say, well, I'd like to get started started, but I just have to finish my business plan. And so they don't actually ever start their business because they're working on their business plan. And I've talked to people where they're like, well, I've been working on my business plan for the last 5 years. As soon as I get that finished, I think I'm going to, launch my business. And that's craziness. That is, that just means that you really don't have an interest in starting your business. If you're going to let something like this totally intimidate you, then the fear of creating a business is so large that truthfully, it's probably never going to happen. So if you're one of those people right now and you're like, gosh, I've been sitting on this business plan for a while and I just can't complete it, I want to give you the encouragement right now to set a deadline for a week or 2 out and have your business plan finished by that date. Because if you feel like it's so hard to get this business plan completed and you can't do it, I really, really want you to do some soul searching and really come to terms with whether or not you truly want to be a business owner. All of this is hard. The whole thing is hard. There's nothing easy about starting a business. But it is very, very rewarding. And that's the reason that we're doing it, right? We're doing it because we want to create something larger than ourselves. We're doing it because we want to help people at a different level. And we're doing it because we want it to be something that's a reflection on us. It's not about working for somebody else. It's not about making somebody else's dreams come true. It's not about, helping the shareholders or the stakeholders in, somebody else's organization. It's about helping the stakeholders in our lives. It's about helping our families. It's about helping the next generation. It's about helping our community and helping really those that we're going to have an impact on and influence. And so you have to take this step and you have to be serious about it. I feel like I encounter that a lot where people just aren't serious enough about really, really starting their business and they let fear really run the show. They let fear just be the person that is greater than them, or be not the person, but be the entity that is greater than them. And if you want to overcome the fear of starting the business, the first step is to take a night, take an hour, take 30 minutes today and just get started. Start with finding a great template. Start with the one-page business plan and then get yourself worked up to something that's, going to be a full-length business plan. Now, the only instance where you would need a really, really great business plan is if you are thinking about looking for financing. So if you're searching for financing, if you're going to go to a bank or an investor, anyone you're going to speak to is going to want a really great business plan. And that is just part of the game. And there are lots of courses out there on how to create business plans. Certainly here at the How to Quit Working program, we have our coaching program, and we will walk you through creating a very detailed business plan if you need it for financing. And so, in that arena, you are going to need to pour a lot of detail into the business plan. And truthfully, your business will be better off if you do really write this business plan. My guess is that if you went into 10 businesses, that 9 of them would not have had business plans when they started. And I believe that that's part of the reason why businesses fail so frequently, is because they have absolutely no plan. When you plan to fail, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that's just the reality of the situation. And without the business plan in place, your business will not have the direction that it needs. Again, going back to kind of just the overarching concepts that we've been discussing, should you create a business plan? Absolutely, you should. Where should you start? You should start with a one-page business plan. You should go online, look for templates, answer questions, identify any holes or gaps that you might see in this plan of action, and then the next question is, who is this business plan for? If you're looking for financing, you're going to want to go to a bank, and you're going to need to have a really great business plan. So the business plan would be for an investor, a bank, an outside entity, whomever is going to give you money to run this business. If you're not seeking financing, the business plan is for you. And after you have this business plan created, my recommendation is every 2 weeks, you should review your business plan. You should look through it, you should read through it, and you should say, is this the path I'm taking? Am I doing all of these things now? After the first 3 months, I would recommend that you go to reviewing that business plan monthly, that you set a day where you're going to take 30 minutes, you're going to read through your business plan. You're going to identify any gaps that you might see in there. You're going to identify areas where maybe you're not doing the things that you should be doing, and you're going to make modifications. And then after maybe 6 months, or, I would say probably about the 6-month mark, you could go to monthly. So I'm going to review my business plan monthly. And then when you get to that annual place, then maybe you just review your business plan annually. And as you're looking through your business plan, as I had indicated, you should make modifications. So if you read through it and you go, this was our target market. These were the people we were trying to sell our products to, but that was 6 months ago, and we're not trying to reach that same person anymore. Now we're trying to reach someone different. Or these were our product offerings, but we have expanded those a ton. Or maybe this was our marketing strategy, but it's pretty off base now. These were our financial projections, but you know what? Finances change every day, and here's a new set of forecasts for the next 6 months. Make changes to that document. Now, I personally like to make a copy of the document and then make changes to that, because it's a whole lot of fun after you get several years out to look back at past business plans and, just really see where you were at and where you've come. So that's my recommendation, just because it's a whole lot of fun to review. But it's important for you to make this a living, breathing, working document. And realistically, if it's too long, if it's too cumbersome, you're not ever going to look at it. You're never going to get to the place where you have a good idea of what's in it. And really, that vision is going to help your organization so much. Knowing what kind of business you're creating, why you're creating the business, who you're there to serve, those are such key points that so many people really miss when they're starting their business. And those are pieces, and those are elements that should be included in your business plan. So I hope that this has been really helpful for you. And if you were on the fence, not sure where to go, not sure what to do with your business plan, now is the time for you to dig in, get started, set that deadline for 2 weeks, possibly a month out, and commit to having it finished by that date so that it isn't something that lingers forever. I know that you can do this. I know that you have the ability to be successful with it. So just take the plunge, take the action, and move forward today. Take a step today that is going to get you closer to your dreams. If all of this just still seems totally overwhelming to you, or if you know that you're just that person who could really use the extra support, I personally need the extra support. I have a coach that I work with on a regular basis. I am a much stronger, more successful entrepreneur because I have somebody who has an outside perspective. And if you would like that outside perspective, I would love to work with you. I would love to talk to you about how we can look at a business plan, get the business plan executed for you, and look at many other areas within your business that we can work on so that you can be successful and be living the life that you are dreaming of. I have had an extreme pleasure, or it has been a pleasure being with you today, and I am excited to see you next week. Take care.
Thanks for joining us on the How to Quit Working show. Tune in next time when we'll talk to another amazing person just like you who is now living the ultimate life of freedom and doing it on their terms. If you want to learn how to quit working and get these episodes delivered directly to you, visit howtoquitworkingshow.com.